Um, but some of these items have never even had the benefit of a public hearing. They came to us through this process of deliberation. And so many people have reached out to me and said, when are we going to have an opportunity to comment on some of these things? And I would hope that the leadership, as they look at this list, might be able to separate those items which might seem to be brandy spanking new to somebody from those that seem to be in that list of ideas that we spoke about for many, many hours. So one of the things that I'm hopeful that the leadership will deliberate about is how the public will be heard between now and the date of what I think is the 13th. No one's confirmed that yet, but I do believe there's been a lot of discussion about that being the date of the next step. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe that I think both Senator Williams and Speaker Sharkey have an interest in finding some way to have additional public process once there is an agreed upon content for proposed eCert bill to schedule a hearing. Whether it is more likely, I think the concept would be an informational hearing with expert speakers in different categories of issues addressed under the proposed bill. But I think the understanding is that there would not be a vote without some formal opportunity for further input and comment by the public through a hearing process on the eCert bill before it is submitted to the membership for a vote.
One point, my colleague to the left here is saying that perhaps we need to be clear about who the leadership is. When this larger task force was formed, the heads of each of the chambers, all of the parties, and majority leader in both chambers were added to that. So there are 6 leaders that will, in my view, take a look at all the recommendations from each of the subcommittees. That's, when I speak about leadership, Senator, I think that's what you are determining as leadership as well, right?
That's certainly right. The 6 leaders will convene from this point on, but of course, ultimately, Speaker Sharkey and Senator Williams are the 2 who have to sign the eCert bill in the end. So all 6 of us will have, I think, vigorous discussions from this point on. But obviously, the Speaker and the President have to be the ones who agree upon final content.
Securities on gun-related issues, but we were somewhat overwhelmed that looking at the list, we didn't think we could come to any agreement. But there are 16 items that are cross-referenced from these 2 proposals that there's some sort of agreement upon. So I'm impressed with that.
Representative Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we've moved through this process over the last few months, there's been a great deal of attention paid to the fact that this is a bipartisan process. And echoing the comments that were made just a moment ago by Representative Dargan, there has been a lot of forward progress made on things that we all, from both sides of the aisle, see as important steps to take to prevent gun violence. Remember, this was a bipartisan task force. So as we move forward from this day, I want to urge one thing. I hope that our leadership on both sides of the aisle and all the caucuses take the time to think of a task force recommendation. And that's important because as a group, we've come together bipartisanly to think about the things that we do agree on. I would personally like to see the task force recommend something. I do not want this to be something where we have just been a rubber stamp for the ability to just pass legislation or get it through what we thought was a public hearing process. The task force should come together, the leadership should come together, and recognize in all parts of these subcommittees or these working groups where we've worked together to find good ideas and put that out in some sort of recommendation. Then we can move forward in things where we don't agree. Just as Representative Dargan said, we can go through the committee process because we have some time to do that. But I think it's important to give credibility to what we've done for the past 3 months, that we take some time and have a task force recommendation. Thank you.
We, as members of this task force, may have strong feelings and positions as a result of our constituency or our personal beliefs that some of the stuff that's being proposed right now is not anything we would want to support, yet it's certainly something that later on could be used in whether it's a negotiation process or not, at which time that may lead many of us not being able to support something that we otherwise wanted to as a unified task force to put something forward that we can all support. Certainly there's always going to be differences of opinions, differences of proposals, and that's why we have committees of cognizance, whether it's the Public Safety Committee or Judiciary Committee, to go through the process that's been set up for those, and to have public hearings and to hear from the public. I still haven't heard a firm commitment that even what's going to come forward as the proposed recommendation of the entire task force and its subcommittees are going to have a public hearing, and I have strong concerns that with the March 13th deadline that may not even be the case. On top of all the other concerns that have been raised even in our working group of not even having a full investigation done.
Of the committee, and I think it's been an educational process that we've all learned, not only in this new process that we're going through, but also on the content of what we were discussing. And I think one of the things that I gleaned the most, it wasn't even from this working group, it was from the governor's task force that he put together, where he had the experts come in from that were part of a panel in Columbine and Virginia Tech, where they said, do not rush this process. That's the best advice that they could give. And I would hope that we're not rushing to reach a date on the calendar to have a vote in the legislature without giving a full opportunity for debate amongst the legislative leaders, having a product that is drafted, available to the membership to read, and also for the public to read, because they're so divided out there in the public on both sides. And prior to this, they were talking about concepts, but now they'll actually have specific language to look at to see what the legislature is trying to do. And I think what we're trying to do is to create good public policy to make our citizens safe while making sure that they have rights that are given to them under the Constitution. So I think that's a delicate balancing act, and I would hope that we don't rush to a date on the calendar just to say we got it done. So I would hope that the leaders take that into consideration during your discussions. Thank you. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. The working group has now completed its work. Wanted to again thank everyone for their hard work and conscientious participation in this entire process. As we said, the list will be forwarded to the next level, and again, thank everyone so much for their willingness to participate and the degree of hard work and good faith that everyone showed in the process. Thank you all very much.